Oh, right. In drama, who's ready for a drama segment? That guy quit the internet because of his take. That was crazy. You guys hear about that? I think it'd be dumb to quit over one bad take. I mean, it's fine to have a bad take sometimes. People were ragging on him, but people rag on anyone for anything later or reason. I guess this is the post I did see. So saying amid backlash for claiming kids can transition genders. I watched a little bit of that debate, and I think that based off of debate, I think maybe this might be a little bit upsetty spaghetti. I'm not sure, but based off of watching the debate, I don't believe the claim that he said that he didn't understand the context of the claim that he was making, because I rewatched that part of it and it's very, very clear in which context he was using it. Chopping off penis or whatever. I think that was very, very, very expressively clear. So I don't think he's being, I think he should just own up to it. I think it would be better to be like, you know what, this is not true. But that's just from my perspective, because it seemed like, yeah, he didn't want to say something wrong. I think it's better to just own up and say, you know what, I just didn't want to say the wrong thing. I think if he owned up to it, I think most people would agree that in that situation, they'd be kind of nervous to say the wrong thing as well. And it's like hard to tell what is the right thing. I don't get it. Transphobic? No, it's not transphobic to say you shouldn't get gender affirming surgery until after you're 18, because your brain is still developing, and you don't want children to make life-altering decisions before their brain is fully developed. I think it's a very reasonable take, but I think there are a lot of people who would feel like it's transphobic for that, and then that might be, nobody wants to be. He got flamed for saying that? Oh, well, that's my personal opinion. I didn't know that's also his opinion too. I feel like we match up on so many things. It is very nice. Poggers. I like that. I'm canceled now? Good, cancel me, I don't care. I personally think that there is, I personally think that it's better to wait for anything that is extremely life-altering until you've fully developed. But I also don't think that 18-year-olds should join into the military. Like, I think it's too young personally. I think 25 is when the brain stops developing, but I still think 21 is you're probably developed enough to be able to function reasonably. I don't know anything about puberty blockers, so I wouldn't be able to give a huge, I wouldn't be able to explain my perspective on it enough without having done research. That's the reality of it. I don't know enough about it to be able to formulate an opinion on it, so my opinion is irrelevant. But I do know that anything where it's extremely life-altering should be waited until you're 18 minimum. And I think that it's anything where you can change your life forever and there's no going back if you're under the age of 18 is too much. I think with this, there's no comparison to either situation here. People say, Sneako this, Charlie that, right? I think both of them are kind of redented, you know? I think they were both kind of redented in their takes. His is clearly a take that he didn't truly believe in, which makes him even more redented, because then you're saying that I think if you don't believe in your take fully, then it makes all of your other takes seem disingenuous as well. And I think that that's where the majority of the backlash is, because I see a lot of people online right now saying like, oh, people don't give a fuck about Sneako saying his pedophile takes. It's like, well, yeah, because Sneako is literally saying what he believes, and I think most people thought that this guy believed in what he was saying more than, and finding out that he was more just saying what would be popular was more shocking. Everyone knows Sneako's a degenerate loser. Like, nobody's surprised by that. If you're surprised that Sneako's a degenerate loser, you're living under a rock, you know? Oh my god, no way, Sneako, the guy who thinks we should lower the age of consent? Really? He's a degenerate? Really? Nobody's surprised by this, you know? People aren't going to be calling it out because they're used to that. I think most people are calling out the other behavior because they're not used to it, and they're shocked by it. They're saying, wait a second, I thought this guy was saying what he truly meant. Finding out now that it seems like he's being disingenuous. The only way to come back from this is to say, in my opinion at least, if it were me, what I would say is I was disingenuous in what I said because I was worried about causing harm to a community that has systematically been hated on and harmed by other people, and I didn't want to hurt people. Thinking on it now, it's not truly what I believed. Here's my actual take, and I'm sorry if this upsets people, but yeah, because no matter what your take is on that, you're gonna upset somebody, whether you agree or disagree or whatever. But yeah, I think that's the comeback, in my opinion. The only way to come back from it is to just admit to being disingenuous, because it's not surprising to be disingenuous in a situation like that, right? It's not surprising somebody would be disingenuous in their take. Because it's a hard subject to bring up for a lot of people. So especially if you have if you want to be kind, and that's kind of like the catch-22 of being a person who wants to be kind, is that sometimes what you feel in your heart may not be in agreement with what society believes, or what is truly right, or any of the above, or any other thing, you know? So I think the only thing you can really do is just try and be as genuine as possible, and when you're wrong, admit to your wrongs. If he's leaving the show because of something that happened 5 years ago, this is also a thing that's not gonna help you seem genuine in your like, I can't express it. I can't. If you're I feel so bad for him, I'm sorry. I just feel bad. I feel so bad for him. It seems like a really unfortunate situation. Leaving your podcast because of something that was said 5 years ago also comes off as very disingenuous, in my opinion, because it says that for 5 years you didn't give a shit about this, but now that it's a part of an unpopular opinion, now I do care about it. It makes it very easy to question what you genuinely care about or what you don't actually care about, and that's concerning, I think, to most people. I think it comes off as disingenuous again, and I think if anything you could say, I don't know, I don't even know how you could go around it, but it just said, like, 5 years is like a really long time to not give a shit about something. Then to have it come up and suddenly care comes off a little weird. Comes back as a right-wing grifter. I wonder who you're referencing here. I can't imagine checkers and chess. Interesting. What is this?
You go play a sport, you quit, nothing changes. You cut off your dick, you can't glue it back on. This guy's a brick, man. This guy's a brick. I thought he was smarter than this, man.
Who's this person?
On God, I thought this guy was smarter than this. What did he just say right there?
Well, I mean, if I'm your parent, okay? Well, I mean, you're not gonna have a tattoo before you're 18.
Okay.
You're not gonna fucking fuck your shit up for life before you're 18.
Agreed, yeah.
After you're 18, if you want to be a fucking retard, whatever, I guess I failed as a parent at that point. I feel like I've failed as a parent. I failed to show you the correct...
Okay. I think people are gonna take this take the wrong way and assume that he means it in his wording. They already did. Okay, I guess I'm late to the game on this. He doesn't mean it in a sense as you are a failure of a child if you make this decision. He means the tattoo thing or whatever is a failure. I didn't know he was so strong against tattoos. Whatever. Hold on, let me finish it out.
Things for you to do good after 18, right? And what I can do is live with my choices and feel sad about it, whatever, and it sucks. But I definitely will not fucking do all that and enable the whatever before 18. That's ridiculous.
All right. I don't think he means it in the sense that if you're trans, I mean, I can't put words in his mouth. I don't know. I don't know. I can't say whatever, but I think he means that after you're 18, you can make your own decisions, and whether you make the right decisions or wrong decisions, or whether are up to you at that point. And if he fails at that point, he fails at that point. But the pre-18, he's not going to fail with. I don't think it means he has any. I think it's just unfortunate that the context that started the conversation had to do with trans people, because I don't think that that's what was occurring. He called them retarded if they regret doing unchangeable things to their body when they're adults. Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, of course. I think that he's saying as an overarching situation, this is what he, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, obviously. I'm just going to say what I think based off of my own interpretation of the clip, just like I do with any other clip. It wasn't specific to trans people. It was because he's always been very openly okay with trans stuff, so I don't think that that's at all how it was meant. You don't just suddenly flip into a whole different scenario, you know what I mean? I think he's saying, based off of my interpretation of the clip, I think he's saying, if you want to make a life-altering decision before the age of 18, he's going to ask you to wait if you're his child until you're over the age of 18, and then at that point you can make your own decisions, whether you regret them or don't regret them, whether you agree, whether he agrees or disagrees with them. It's your life at that point, and whether he failed you or not is on you at that point and on him at that point. But he can't take anything back after you're over the age of 18. Before the age of 18, he doesn't want anything to happen that's a life-altering decision, because at that point it's his fault. If you do end up regretting it and you do want it taken back, then it's on him for having been the parent and allowing that to happen. So sometimes it's hard to understand what other people mean by what they're saying, but I think this is what I'm gathering based off of the information of the clip at the time. Thank you for actually taking the time. XQC translator feels good, man. I can imagine people being really upset because it was very much taken out of context, and you know, I think it's kind of a little disingenuous in his overarching interpretation of how he is with the trans community anyway, because he's taken even since I've known him, a huge amount of backlash for being a supporter of the trans community and being treated incredibly disrespectfully, in my opinion, just for saying that he thinks it's inappropriate to treat people disrespectfully based off of something that they feel they have inside. Like, I am almost shocked that people would take it in any other way than that, because of how open he has been in support of the trans community and the LGBT community in general. Like, so I'm shocked that people were upset, is what I mean to say.
Just subscribe.